Direct-to-consumer brands are facing more challenges today than ever with fluctuating customer acquisition costs and very fierce competition. The question is always, how can you effectively capture more customers while boosting your sales profitably? And I truly believe that Amazon has to be a central piece in this puzzle. But how can you really know if you're making the most out of your Amazon marketing efforts? In this video, you'll discover how Amazon can transform your D2C business by capturing sales more efficiently and taking advantage of the 167 million plus Prime users in the United States and beyond. If you're investing significantly in ad dollars on platforms like Meta, certainly a spillover effect takes place where customers want to go find and buy your product on Amazon. Now, if you're not there, essentially your competitors are making money from your ad dollars. But if you are there, you have to be making sure that you are capturing that spillover as efficiently as possible. So we'll be guiding you on how to maximize your marketing spend, tap into Amazon's vast user base, and leverage data for sustained growth. My name's Ken, and I've been selling in the world of Amazon for the last 10 years. After experiencing a multiple seven-figure exit of my own brand, this year we'll be managing over $200 million across our portfolio of brands. We're working with some of the top D2C brands in the world, like Gordon Ramsay's cookware brand Hexclad, Ridge Wallets, BK Beauty, Woobles, the list goes on and on. We'll be reverse engineering how the best-in-class D2C brands are fully taking advantage of Amazon and how you can do it too. We'll cover 10 essential strategies for maximizing your sales on Amazon, from brand protection and listing optimization to advertising strategies and customer service excellence. Let's dive into how you can leverage Amazon to supercharge your sales. So, first of all, if you are investing heavily in platforms like Meta, and many of the brands that we're working with are literally spending millions of dollars per month, we have to make sure that Amazon is capturing that spillover as effectively and efficiently as possible. Very simply, many shoppers just prefer the shopping experience of Amazon. And as I mentioned, if you're not present, competitors are essentially capitalizing on all of your marketing efforts. And being on Amazon allows you to efficiently capture that customer spend and make sure that your brand is there and visible. However, there's still bidding going on. For instance, we work with Ridge Wallets, and there is a whole economy based upon people bidding on all Ridge Wallet search terms. In fact, Ridge Wallets in a way is actually bigger than the greater wallet market in some regards. So even if you are there, you have to make sure, and Search Query Performance Report is really one of the best ways to do that, to make sure that you're capturing at least 80% of the market share for your own branded search terms. Now, everyone wants 100% of all of their purchases going forward for their brand. Say if they're searching for Hexclad, of course, would want 100% of those purchases going towards their brand. That's just not always the case. So your PPC efforts are really gonna factor in, and you're gonna have to spend money on your own brand. So there's many factors that go in, but you have to capture that branded search volume as efficiently as possible. Don't let anyone else steal it. Next, we need to make sure that we are leveraging all of the data that Amazon gives us. And it's amazing. Amazon offers a wealth of data that D2C brands can take advantage of, particularly around keyword performance. Unlike the traditional Shopify D2C strategy where awareness is being generated through your ad dollars, Amazon is essentially a bottom of funnel channel. People are searching for different queries, and you need to make sure that you're ranking very well for each of these. And you should know very well how all of your metrics are performing. What is your conversion rate, your click-through rate, your market share, all on a keyword level. Search Query Performance Report is the way to see this. So focusing on maximizing these metrics to gain a larger market share profitably is the most important thing. And there's really a suite of tools that you can really use to take advantage of this. My personal favorite is a tool called DataRova, and for every single brand that we work with, we literally track their most important keywords every single day in terms of where they're ranking organically. And of course, as I've mentioned, Search Query Performance Report is gonna have all of the most important metrics about every keyword that is leading to a conversion for your brand. Next, we have to make sure that we are really protecting your brand when you go to Amazon. You're of course probably gonna have a trademark already, which is essential. You're gonna want to make sure your trademark is registered with Amazon's brand registry, so you can really enforce and make sure that people are not illegally using your brand name throughout their listings and different things like that. But even more importantly, Amazon is a very challenging space, and there's really like modern day piracy that goes on there. Many people can sell, counterfeit versions of your product per se, or a huge problem that goes on is where people essentially hijack your listings. They can do this for many reasons. One, so they can just, profitably make some sales before they get kicked off, and that's their whole business model, is essentially hopping on different people's products. However, though, sometimes competitors can actually hijack your listing in order to destroy your momentum. And say maybe they're shipping their product from another country like China and it takes weeks to arrive. No one's gonna wanna buy your product and it really tanks your product. So our solution to that is really the transparency program from Amazon. This program essentially shields your brand from counterfeiters. Every single product that you're gonna send into Amazon will have a unique sticker, one of a kind, that will be applied to your product, so no one else can ever hop on your listing without that unique sticker, which they really can't get. So this program ensures that your customers are only gonna receive your authentic products, protecting your brand reputation and sales. Okay, next, of course, we're gonna wanna make sure we have a highly optimized product detail page. And that all begins truly with your main image. So unlike your standard Shopify website where it's just your brand, just your product, Amazon is of course a marketplace and you have to really stand out from the crowd when people are scrolling. You wanna make sure that your main image stands out from the crowd and really calls attention. So Amazon offers its own sort of internal tool for A/B testing where you can compare, say, two different images that you're testing for your main image being the most important. We also really recommend a tool called IntelliLevy, which actually uses real people to vote for their favorite images, their whole image stack actually, and other different metrics within that comprise your product detail page. And we find that this to be the absolute best way to make sure that your product page will convert better than anyone else's because you can test your own image stack versus the competition. It's also really important to note that unlike your classic, very minimalistic D2C product detail pages with white backgrounds, just very clean, we found really that the highest converting Amazon listings actually have tons of graphical elements throughout the image stack, and it's really calling out your main features and your benefits in the images. Test these out. Amazon gives lots of best data, like what are the best performing products for any keyword. Amazon will share the top 3 of those, so see who's performing best in your category, get some inspiration from them. Next, there is both a challenge and an advantage to being a premium price D2C product. On Amazon, of course, there's going to be many cheaper Me Too products. If you're a big player in the market, someone's probably trying to copy your products essentially. But because you have that bigger margin to play with, you have a lot of opportunities. One of those opportunities is really taking advantage of deals in ways that other people can't because you have a very nice margin. There's many different types of deals on Amazon, and premium priced products thrive when they're running deals, okay? There's lightning deals, which are, a very fixed period of time where you can run these, and you can run them once a week. There's also best deals, which you can run once a month, and best deals are like a 7-day deal, and we recommend running these as often as possible. You're going to have to do at least a 20% discount in order to get the deal, but it'll have a nice badge on your listing, and your listing is going to convert much better. So many of the different keywords that you're bidding on, especially your non-branded keywords, it's going to be hard for you to really scale those in a profitable way normally. However, when you have your deal badge, you've got that 20% or more discount, you can actually spend much more aggressively on these search terms and capture a ton of sales. So for D2C brands, premium price products, highly recommend running deals as much as possible. Make your own deals, basically. Amazon has their Prime Day deals throughout the year and different holiday events, of course. But if you essentially make a deal calendar for your brand, you can see the different opportunities where you can place in best deals and lightning deals throughout the whole year to take advantage of that. But that's a total game changer for D2C brands. Next, when it comes to advertising strategies for D2C brands, you're gonna wanna group things into 2 very specific buckets. And that's your branded advertising strategy and your non-branded. And by non-branded, I mean any keywords that you're bidding on that does not have your brand name in there, of course. So your highest search volume, highly relevant keywords are usually gonna be non-branded search terms, of course. To take the Ridge, for example, Ridge wallets for men is a branded keyword. The absolute most important non-branded keyword in the category is wallets for men. So we wanna have very different strategies, of course, of how we're bidding for these terms. When we're bidding for branded search terms, you've essentially already paid for that on Meta, maybe a TV commercial, whatever that may be. You've essentially already spent money for people to become aware of your brand. Amazon is going to capture that very efficiently because people are already searching for that search term. So when it comes to how you advertise for that, you wanna have a very specific goal in mind, which could be a sub or around 10% ACoS would be a great metric to have. If you're spending less than a 10% ACoS for your branded search terms, most likely someone is outbidding you. So the best thing to do is search for your brand name with any of the relevant keywords around it, or after that, see what the page will look like, okay? There's the headline search ad, the banner ad there. When people search for your brand, it really is kind of a bad look if someone else's brand is popping up at the top. They're essentially bidding for your branded search terms. It's a very, very common thing on Amazon. So you wanna find out how you can essentially spend the least amount of money, but I would recommend maintaining that spot. And you really probably wanna maintain the top 2 spots in order to not have anyone else stealing your branded search volume. That's incredibly important. Then you're gonna wanna cross-reference with Search Query Performance Report to make sure that you're maintaining, I recommend at least an 80% market share for your brand. If you are only having a 70% or lower market share, spend more money on your branded search terms, and then week over week, you can actually track your market share going up, but you can also spend too much. And I would say many agencies just love to spend money on all of the branded search terms because they're gonna have a great overall account A cost, but really they're just probably overspending and cannibalizing your organic sales. So be very well aware of that. Then when it comes to the non-branded strategy, say after your COGS and after Amazon fees, maybe a D2C brand is left with a 40 or 50% margin to play with, right? I would recommend, if you have a 50% margin, have a target A cost of roughly 40% and spend as much as possible, because these are customers that were not planning on buying your product. They went on Amazon, they maybe searched for a wallet for men, and they decided to buy your product. So because you have a much larger overall margin, you can spend and afford many more clicks for people to go on your listings. Of course, that listing needs to convert well, but you can be much more aggressive. You know, if you can get your product into as many people's hands as possible for even a break even in some cases, or a small profit, I think it's worthwhile. And PPC is of course the best lever on Amazon to increase your organic rank. Sometimes spending at break even, as much as you can spend, will actually help increase your organic rank. So you can actually have organic purchases as well for your brand, not just paid ads, but it's a process. Next, you're going to have to be very well aware of the rules of Amazon and make sure that your account is safe from suspension, attacks from competitors, many different things like that. Many people fear their accounts being suspended on Amazon, and in my actual experience of selling on Amazon for the last 10 years, it's actually pretty crazy what people can get away with before their account gets suspended. However, I would say some things that Amazon now takes very, very seriously is review manipulation. Now, if you're a D2C brand, you probably have a huge email list with maybe several 100,000 subscribers to your email list. I highly recommend, although it is against the TOS terms of service, to take advantage of that. You know, you have a dedicated following to your brand, you have an email list, you can really leverage that and say, hey guys, we're just launching on Amazon, we would appreciate your support, here's a free product. And then maybe if they get it afterwards, you can ask for a review. So that's technically breaking the rules, but it's a great advantage to kind of generate those reviews. Really, the natural review rate is probably a 2 or a 3% maximum. Okay, so if you pass 6, 7, 8% of a review rate, you're kind of playing with fire, and I would recommend being really safe when it comes to that. So besides that, you can get away with many things on Amazon. We could talk more about that in another video, but be careful when it comes to reviews. Get those reviews, high quantity and quality of reviews, of course, but be careful. Now let's dive in a little bit more into the key elements of a successful product listing on Amazon. We talked a little bit already about your main image stack, different things like that. When it comes to your titles and your bullet points, really we find that Amazon, you know, they even hide that kind of now when it comes to the bullet points or the description of your listing. So it's really about SEO. So you wanna make sure when you're building your listing, you're reverse engineering using different tools like Data Dive or Data Rova to find out what are the most important keywords that are leading to conversions for your competitors. You're gonna wanna have that list of keywords and make sure that those keywords are in the beginnings of your title and scattered throughout your listings, and of course also calling them out in your main image stack. That's highly important. So we really find that the back-end keywords in your descriptions, people probably are not even reading those anymore. They're looking at your image stack. So the most important thing is that you are indexing and ranking well for those keywords. And of course, the most important metrics when it comes to a great listing is your click-through rate. We talked about that. That's really your main image, your price, your reviews, and a little bit of your title. Those are the factors that are determining your click-through rate. Out of how many impressions you get, how many clicks does that lead to? That's essentially your click-through rate. So that's highly important. But then your conversion rate after that is of course how many people go on your product page and how many people, what percentage of people purchase your product. So really to summarize the way that keyword ranking works on Amazon, Amazon will increase your organic rank when you have a high sales velocity and a higher conversion rate than the market on a keyword level. So when people are going to your listing, if they're buying your product at a higher rate than the rest of the market, and there's a high sales velocity of people going to your listing, Amazon wants to make money by charging you fees, of course, so they're gonna rank your product higher and higher. That's actually the core of everything, to have a highly converting listing that determines your organic keyword ranking ultimately, the bottom line of your profits, of course, how your advertising performs, everything. So spend a lot of time and test continuously to make sure that your listing converts the same or really better than the market, which can be challenging because you're gonna be a premium priced product. And that's why we talked about deals and running deals as often as possible, because your conversion rate's gonna increase, of course, when you run deals. It increases significantly, in fact. Next, let's talk a little bit about what customer service looks like on Amazon, which thankfully, it's actually very minimal compared to a Shopify store, right? For Shopify, I mean, you guys probably have teams of customer service people. And Amazon actually handles 99% of all of that for us, which is great. You know, when's the last time you actually talked to a brand owner on Amazon? You really don't even, when you're doing a return these days, you don't even have to talk to anyone, of course. So the customer service is very minimal, but the things that are important, when you get negative reviews on your listings, you wanna respond to those reviews, of course. And I recommend a tool from Sellerize called Review Puncher. And this tool can help you manage reviews and improve the engagement with customers. So when you get a bad review, you can actually offer them to do a full refund, which we recommend. If you're getting a 1, 2, or 3 star review, I just recommend giving them a full refund. A 1 star review especially negatively impacts your listing so much and carries so much weight that it's just best to give them a free product and then have a chance at least of having that review removed. When it comes to customer service on Amazon, the most important thing is just mitigating all of those negative reviews. And lastly, when it comes to making the most out of the Amazon channel for your brand, how you're handling inventory management is incredibly important, because there are just so many hidden fees on Amazon and they're increasing, it feels like day by day. So you're gonna wanna make sure that someone on your team is very well versed in all of these. There's inbound placement fees now, there's excess storage fees that you have to be aware of. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you're not keeping too few units in Amazon, because that can actually lower your organic ranking. All your products are, say, on the West Coast, and your ranking is actually gonna be worse if someone's trying to buy your product in New York, because it will take so long to reach them. So you wanna neither be understocked or overstocked in Amazon, because Amazon will charge, very aggressive fees to incentivize so that you're not storing your inventory for long periods of time. Amazon wants to be a fulfillment center, not a storage center. For that, I also just recommend Amazon service called AWD. So essentially, if you send in your units to AWD, maybe from your 3PL to this storage center, it's essentially Amazon's 3PL that will then auto feed and drip to Amazon. We've really found in the vast majority of cases, it can often be a cheaper strategy to do this, because Amazon just has all of these different fees that they're hitting you with constantly. So this is essentially the solution. In conclusion, D2C brands, you have to be on Amazon. And if you're not on Amazon, you're truly missing out, because so many people are just always gonna prefer the shopping experience to Amazon. But it's its own beast essentially. So you have to be really wise in making sure you are capturing demand as efficiently as possible and maximizing your non-branded performance in a way that really makes sense for your brand. So by focusing on brand protection, data-driven strategies like we've discussed, effective advertising for both branded and non-branded search terms, you can capture new customers and drive significant growth for your brand. So it's time to implement these strategies for your brand and start maximizing your sales on Amazon. Share your experiences in the comments and check out our other videos for more insights into mastering Amazon for D2C brands and boosting your sales. So now it's time to implement these strategies and to start maximizing your sales on Amazon. Click the link in the description below, and for a very, very short period of time, free of charge, we're offering to create a plan of action for your brand success on Amazon. Whether you're already on Amazon or not, we can essentially find your main competitors and reverse engineer whatever the best people in the category are doing for your brand on Amazon. And we'll map out that plan of action, give it to you free of charge. Stay tuned for the next video, and we'll see you soon.